de elegir las escuelas públicas tradicionales y también las escuelas públicas charters. Es un movimiento que nosotros tenemos que tomar a mano y ejercer ese derecho como padres, decidir las mejores escuelas para nuestros hijos. Hay escuelas públicas tradicionales que tienen alto rendimiento académico, pero también tenemos escuelas públicas charters que dan la misma opción, que también son gratis y tienen un nivel académico muy alto. Recuerden, son sus hijos y es su opción.
Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Soy Cecilia Iglesias aquí de Activa Tu Voz. Gracias por sintonizarse hoy. Feliz lunes para todos. Espero que hayan tenido un feliz fin de semana. Pues hoy tengo la oportunidad de compartir un proyecto con ustedes. Es una entrevista que tuve la oportunidad de tener con nuestros amigos en Prager University. La entrevista es en inglés, pero nosotros vamos a estar aquí para decirles lo que pasó en la entrevista en español. Pero me gustaría compartir esta entrevista con ustedes porque sí estamos aquí nosotros creciendo el interés de cómo organizar una unión de padres, porque nosotros somos una unión de padres y queremos darles a ustedes las herramientas para que ustedes también tengan el apoyo que ustedes necesitan, si lo pueden hacer y organizar en sus distritos respectivos y también en su comunidad. Esta es una organización que les va a apoyar para que ustedes puedan navegar el sistema escolar que es aquí en California, la educación pública. Y es un sistema que es muy confuso, como les he compartido, y a veces es muy complejo de navegar. Y por eso nosotros estamos aquí para darle esa información y darle las herramientas en cómo hacer ese proceso. Entonces, pues me gustaría compartir a ustedes una entrevista que tuve con Jill Simonian de Prager U. Como les digo, es en inglés, pero es una información muy importante. Si ustedes tienen personas amigos que hablan inglés, por favor compartan este segmento con ellos. Vamos al video y regresamos para hacer un breve debrief de esta entrevista.
Iglesias, I am so excited to talk to you. Thank you for joining me here to talk about how to start a parent union. And I think we can all applaud because we all want to make change in our communities. This one, I wanted to talk about how to start a parent union because this is for all the moms and dads who don't like what's going on at their schools, whether it be with curriculum, with activities. You're a former school board member. You've done a lot of great stuff. You served as a trustee for 6 years in Santa Ana Unified School District here in Southern California. You are the founder of the Parent Union here in California. And you're also educating Spanish-speaking parents about their rights in schools through a Facebook show that you have called, I want to make sure I get this right, Activa Tu Voz, right?
Correct.
Good. So you've really walked the walk. You've talked the talk. You've made change in your own district because most importantly, you are a parent who saw many things unfold that really didn't sit right with you and you did something about it, right?
Correct. I saw the need, Jill, and it was just an amazing opportunity for me to get involved because I saw a lot of other parents going through the same struggles. But unfortunately, they just didn't know how to in collaboration here in Santa Ana.
And I love the idea of a parent union because more and more, the past few years especially, so many of us, myself included, did not realize that the teacher unions were actually causing a lot of harm and not doing what we all thought as parents that they were serving the purpose that we thought they were supposed to serve. And so I want to get into your tips for how us parents can band together, take purposeful action, start a parent union in our own schools or communities, if you will. And one of the big questions that parents ask is, where the heck do I even start? And I think maybe the number one first place to start that I want you to shed some light on is identifying the problem.
Correct. Correct. That is the first thing. So parents, they have an array of concerns when it comes to their child's education. And as you mentioned, in the past 6 years, we've seen a lot of parent groups, rise up and stand up for their rights. And the purpose behind the parent union when we started it in 2015 was because we wanted more resources for our children, after school programs to ensure academically they were successful. One of the things that I would share with the parents was know how percentage-wise how academically successful your school district is, and even your school site. And then wow. So I would direct them to their school site link in the internet, and then show them how to look out the school accountability report cards. And that's something that the district gives to the Department of Education. And there, right there, they can see how they're doing academically in math, English, and science. And unfortunately, here in Santa Ana, the percentages were not in our favor. About 27% were proficient in English, about another 20% in math. And then we were looking for resources. And around that time, parents were seeing that, the money from Prop 30 that was coming into the additional to the districts that needed the most, it wasn't going to our kids. It wasn't going to the classroom. It was going for admin fees. It was going to other things except for the things that we wanted. So that's when the parents say, this is an issue that we're going to take on. We need to have a seat at the table, especially when negotiating with the budget, because Santa Ana is a very well-to-do district when it comes to finances. We have approximately almost $800 million a year that come into our district. So when parents saw that that's that much money going into it, but not a lot was going into supportive services for their kids, they're like, no, it's time for us to really stand up and start asking those questions and be involved and hold our electeds accountable.
That's right. And that is a problem right then and there. You saw a tangible description of the, I'm just going to say, failing academics, and yes. That is a serious, serious problem. I mean, it's one thing for parents to go to school board meetings and say, I don't like what's happening, or this is wrong. But when you have an identified problem, such as what you guys discovered, that's legitimate. And I think that's the number one thing that I think we can all remember: identify the problem. And you did just that.
Yes. And then, of course, the opposition didn't like that we brought that to light because so they're like, of course, they just started saying, they're lying. And I was like, it's our own reports that we're providing to the state. So one thing that, we really must remember is that we have to stand on facts. And when we speak on facts, even all the opposition, whatever they tell us, we just can't, you take it like a grain of salt and just ignore that because we have the facts in front of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So number 2, the second tip that I want to really ask you about, because you've done it so successfully, is find your community.
Yes.
We always talk about power in numbers, having courage in numbers to be able to really communicate effectively with a powerful group of people behind you. But Cecilia, how do you find those people? Because it is very scary for some people. How did you find your people online, in real life? How?
Both, actually, because I was a parent myself when we started the parent union, and being on the school board gave me an opportunity to get to a little bit more of the parent community. And so I would make it an effort to meet with them personally, one-on-one. But we did take advantage of social media. Back, I was saying it's been a while. It's been about almost 7 years that we did this. But it's an opportunity, and it's a free resource that we have to all of us. And then it's just the way it spreads like wildfire, both good and bad. But when we have a good topic to focus on, which for us was ensuring our kids have academic success and that the district gives us the money that we deserve because it's a public fund and it comes from our taxes. So we want to hold them accountable with our resources. So when we focused on that, it just spread. There was about 15 of us, active parents in Santa Ana. And then through social media, Facebook page, a Facebook group, it grew to 560 within a month. And it was just all Santa Ana parents. And this was, like I was saying, it's been a while, like 7 years. And now we know it's more, it's a little bit easier for us to get our message across with different platforms. But back then it was Facebook that we were using. And parents really appreciated because I was giving to them the facts, the things that I could share in public of, what was going on behind closed doors. And then I would also tell them, you will face opposition, and then people will start name calling you if they can't find the facts to rebuttal what we're, bringing up to them. And so it was an opportunity for us to all get together. And yes, we have to do it by person, either social media, but always stay connected. Don't, even after, we say, oh, we solved this issue, just know that there's always something more behind that other issue that you've raised. Like, for example, for us with academic success, it was more about, okay, so you say you don't have the money, you say you don't have the staff, then, okay, here's the money. What are you doing with that money? Okay, because bottom line, how you invest your resources, which is public funds, it's going to affect the academic achievement of our community. And fortunately, Jill, within the Latino community, this is a big issue because the opposition, which is the teachers union, they take advantage of our community. And I would share with them how they were taking advantage of us. And
I'm curious, how are the teacher unions taking advantage of the Latino community? Can you give a few examples?
Yes. So when it comes to ensuring that the information is given to the community, they're very selective on the information that they provide. So they only give you what you want to hear. They never show you, okay, here are the issues, here are the facts, and this is how you could genuinely get involved. And one of the things that we found is a lot of like the PTA, PFOs, whatever it is, those parent groups within the school district, those are just a cover up for the teachers union. And because, they pretty much just tell them, okay, here's the agenda. This is what we're going to do. And they don't have genuine input from the parents, because I got an opportunity to sit in a couple of them when I was a school board member. And a lot of the principals and the teachers that were heading these meetings, they were nervous when I would come in because they knew I knew what they were supposed to be doing. And then so when I would ask them, I said, well, who approved this agenda? Who had an input on this agenda? And they're like, so a lot of the parents are like, they just pretty much just bring this agenda and they want us to adopt it, sign it off, and then they just take it back to the district saying they did take.
Académico está en su distrito. Pues entonces nuestra meta será este año de darles a ustedes todas las informaciones de cada distrito aquí en California. Como les he dicho, California tiene más de 1,300 distritos, o vamos a escoger los distritos más grandes, pero si ustedes quieren información sobre su distrito específico, nos pueden mandar un mensaje aquí en su programa de Activa Tu Voz. Vamos a ir a un corto comercial para darle esta oportunidad a nuestros patrocinadores y regresamos con el video.
Yo me siento muy bien, muy contenta. Todo el personal es muy amable conmigo, son atentos y todo lo que uno ocupa, siempre están ahí para nosotros. Como padres siempre está el personal con nosotros, apoyándonos.
Definitivamente, si los padres están buscando una escuela intermedia, yo personalmente les recomendaría que vengan a Vista. Es una escuela en donde le van a brindar a su hijo todo lo que su hijo necesita, desde educación, apoyo, ayuda en todo momento.
¿Sabías que las escuelas charter ya están inscribiendo para el próximo año escolar? Las escuelas charter brindan a los estudiantes una educación pública, gratuita y de alta calidad, con educadores que abren puertas a la imaginación, donde la creatividad y las grandes ideas se inspiran, y cada día trae una nueva y emocionante aventura. Escuelas públicas charter sirven a todo estudiante, a toda familia. Por la comunidad, para la comunidad. Visita escuelaspúblicascharter.org para encontrar una escuela charter cerca de ti.
Pues gracias de regresar aquí con nosotros en su programa de Activa Tu Voz, aquí donde nosotros le damos el apoyo y las herramientas en cómo navegar este sistema muy complejo que es la educación pública aquí en California. Entonces seguimos con la entrevista que tuve la oportunidad de tener con Jill Simonian de PragerU University.
So, So when when you start explaining the process of how the committees work, how the different budget processes works, and this is all public information. But unfortunately, in our Latino community, we're Spanish speaking. English is a second language, so we have that barrier already. And that's why I say they take advantage, because purposely they don't give this information in Espanol. In Spanish, they'll try to translate it to their benefit, but not really explaining the process. So that's where the parent union and now are laser focused on the Latino community with La Union De Padres. That's what we're doing. We're empowering parents, especially the Spanish-speaking parents here in California, to know their rights. So specifically, we do it all in Spanish because we don't want them to be this misunderstanding. But we want the community to know their rights and then ask for their rights when they go before the board for public comment. And so it's been very well accepted. Activa Tu Voz is very successful with our Latino community. They're thanking us, that we are bringing the information that the English-speaking parents have to them. And on this way, they can go back to their school site and say, I want this, even in our native language in Spanish. And then they have no other alternative but to give them what they're requesting.
Yeah, and I gotta say, just as a side note, it is fascinating and mind-boggling to me personally. I don't speak Spanish, but it is mind-boggling to me how right now there has been such an in-depth discussion and commentary about the importance of diversity. But when it comes to educating children whose parents don't necessarily fully understand, just like you said, have English as a second language, they are completely cast aside and they are not included. And the teacher unions and many of the school districts will chatter about diversity, but they are not including the diverse populations who really need the information in order to know what needs to be done for them to succeed.
And so those are the things that we focus on. Make it be quality public education, because they're getting paid. And we explain to them how much they're getting paid per student, which here in California is roughly anywhere from $23,000 to $30,000 a year per child, especially the ones who are in Title I communities. And those are most our Latino communities. They get more funding from the federal government. So when you explain that to them, and I say, where's this money going? It's not.
Pues como miran, ahí estamos hablando del impacto que tiene la Unión de Maestros en las escuelas del distrito y cómo es la importancia que nosotros sepamos cómo el dinero se da en diferentes escuelas y cómo nosotros podemos participar en esas conversaciones. Como ustedes miraron, la semana pasada tuvimos a María Palma, que ella estaba explicando el presupuesto del distrito escolar allá en Los Ángeles y cómo las citas y las reuniones de LCAP, que son las reuniones que nosotros tenemos como padres, ese derecho de opinar y también dar nuestro información en respecto a qué es lo más importante para que el distrito sepa alocar los diferentes fondos a las diferentes necesidades que tenemos como padres y como comunidades. Entonces, como les digo, comienzo de año vamos a empezar a nosotros a darle más esa información, cómo es que los distritos dan sus operaciones, cómo los distritos manejan nuestro presupuesto y cómo usted como padre puede exigir que el distrito escolar donde ustedes tienen a sus niños inscritos puedan darles esa información y también los recursos que ustedes se merecen, porque como les hemos dicho, ustedes merecen de tener todos los recursos que nosotros como contribuyentes en impuestos les damos al distrito, que es por medio de $23,000 a $30,000 por año por cada estudiante que está inscrito en su distrito escolar. Por eso me gustaría hacerles esa invitación que ustedes compartan este programa a las personas que ustedes piensan que pueden tener ventaja y aprender algo y tener beneficio de esta información, porque es muy importante que todos nos unamos y seamos parte de este movimiento que es la Unión de Padres. Les doy las gracias por acompañarme hoy. Nos vemos el miércoles y pasen un buen día, feliz día y gracias por ser parte de la Unión de Padres aquí en su programa de Activa Tu Voz. Nos vemos. Bye bye.
Yo me siento muy bien, muy contenta. todo el personal muy, muy amable conmigo, son atentos y todo lo que a veces lo que uno ocupa, siempre están ahí para nosotros. Como padres, siempre está el personal con nosotros, apoyándonos.
Definitivamente, si los padres están buscando una escuela intermedia, yo personalmente les recomendaría que vengan a Vista. Es una escuela donde le van a brindar a su hijo todo lo que su hijo necesita, desde educación, apoyo, ayuda en todo momento.
¿Sabías que las escuelas charter ya están inscribiendo para el próximo año escolar? Las escuelas charter brindan a los estudiantes una educación pública, gratuita y de alta calidad, con educadores que abren puertas a la imaginación, donde la creatividad y las grandes ideas se inspiran, y cada día trae una nueva y emocionante aventura. Escuelas públicas charter sirven a todo estudiante, a toda familia. Por la comunidad, para la comunidad. Visita escuelaspúblicascharter.org para encontrar una escuela charter cerca de ti.
Hola amigos, soy Cecilia Iglesias, fundadora de la Union De Padres. Gracias por acompañarnos aquí en este programa de Activa Tu Voz los lunes, miércoles y viernes. Este programa es para usted, para que usted se sienta que tiene los recursos y el apoyo que necesita, para que usted sea el mejor defensor para la educación pública de sus hijos. Compartan este show para que otras personas también se unan a este movimiento de la Unión de Padres, porque juntos podemos hacer más. Nos vemos muy pronto en este canal.